Hey there, everyone. So, made a quick trip down to Birmingham, Alabama, and I am here in the blowing engine house at the Sloss furnaces, looking at the preserved vertical with a long crosshead type blowing engines that they had here at the furnaces. Now, if you're not familiar, Sloss Furnaces is a National Historic Landmark and it's open to the public. It is owned by the city of Birmingham. So, and we drove down here and just wandered right in and taking a little look around. So I'll give you a little explanation here of how this works. So vertical blowing engine has two flywheels and a crankshaft in between. And your coreless cylinder is actually down here between the flywheels. And up above it, you have the crosshead. They call it a long crosshead type because it's a long crosshead. And the blowing tub is up at the top. So how this works is that when it runs, the crankshaft turns, the flywheel spins. There are connecting rods on either side, and they're tied into that long crosshead. And in the crosshead, there's the piston rod that comes down to the steam cylinder, and then another piston rod that goes up into the blowing tub. And so it's basically like a typical vertical engine, except for it's been compressed, and they put the piston and the cylinder down lower. So as it turns, of course, as the coreless cylinder, does its thing, pushing the piston up, crosshead goes up, flywheel and the crankshaft turn. And then the piston up in the blowing tub will go up, and as it's going up, it's pushing air out to the furnaces, and in the bottom there are a set of reed valves that open up and it's sucking air in. When it gets to the top, it reverses, and then it's starting to push the air out through the bottom into the cold blast main and sucking more air in from the top through the reed valves. And it just does that, making the air blast for the furnaces. Now in here we have one, two, I don't know how many are actually in here, 3, at least 6 or so. For each blast furnace they would probably run 2 engines, maybe 3, but at least 2 engines. And you'd always have a spare or 2. There were 2 blast furnaces here. So let's see, there's one. Here's another one. It's very similar. You can see, okay, there's a bevel gear back there, and that turns this shaft, and you have this eccentric, and the eccentric goes up and works the coreless valves. And then you have a third. Now you can get a better view of this engine. The blowing tub up there and the giant flywheel. And you look to the right, and there were additions that had turbo blowers. And then over here were the various pumps and all that, boiler feed pumps and the like for the plant. All right, we'll take a look at some of the machinery in here. This is interesting. Here's a turbine. This is a GE label on it. General Electric turbine. 150 psi, 2000 RPM. Driving, looks like a water pump. Another set of turbos here. Here's a rather large duplex pump. Looks like a high pressure pump. Alright, I had to run back out to the car to get my flashlight so we can see something in here. Alright, so here we have a motor-driven Ingersoll Rand, or is that a Chicago pneumatic air compressor over here in this corner. Alright, so let's see, steam flow into here. So there's boilers outside, and steam would come in through this line here to a separator, and then from the separator right into the coreless cylinder. And then apparently this line here is the exhaust out, and it goes up to this line and then to here and then out somewhere. So I don't know where it exits the building, but we'll figure that out here in due course. So this blowing engine here has a different type of separator for it. Actually, it's missing the entire coreless cylinder. Alright. Huh. Alright, this is the second one in the line. The third one in line, it looks complete. There's a better view of the operating mechanism for the valve gear, the bevel gears, and then there's the eccentrics. There's your main bearings. Boy, that would be fun, working on that main bearing. Good Lord, get in there and take that bearing cap out, and then how do you get it off of there? And then if you do, where do you put it? I guess you got to just slide it over on the shaft. Huh. Wow, that's not a lot of room to work on this. Okay, and then you see this repair? So it's a cast iron leg, but you see all these rivets here and bolts. That looks like they reinforced that leg. Must have broke or something. Interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, there's that repair. A better shot of that. Alright, now here, this is the fourth engine. And then engine number 5, it has a different looking separator for it. There's a throttle valve. Well, that's nice. Interesting looking throttle valve there. So this engine's different. Yeah, you see all the legs a little bit different on it. So this is a different manufacturer on this one. So we had 4 of them down there that are pretty close to being identical. And the 5th one here is different. And well, the 6th one is like the first 4. So that 5th one here, this one here is a different manufacturer. I'm not sure who built these engines. I think I heard maybe Alice Chalmers. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look through the histories on this place again and see. All right, let's see what style this one is. Okay, this one here is like the earlier ones. Well, that's bigger than any wrench I've ever used. There's my size 12. And the last one here, the 8th one in a row, is Yeah. Okay, so looks like maybe all of these engines except for two are the same. Interesting. Okay, following that exhaust line, it seems to come up to here, and then there's a valve here, and it branches off and goes through the wall. And all of those engines are tied into that, and then there's also this one here. Now, could there have been another engine right here at one point? I don't know. Or maybe this was always open here in this area. Not quite sure. So the first time I came down to Sloss was 1993. My grandmother brought me down here. I graduated high school in 92, and we took a trip down here. And the reason that she brought me is because I didn't have a car that was reliable enough to drive down on my own. Actually, look, yeah, there's a port right there. Yeah, there would have been room for another blowing engine right there. Wonder if that was taken out when the turbos were put in. So then the second time I was down here was, I don't know, 2016 or something. It's been almost 10 years. Same deal. My wife had a conference to go to, so I tagged along, and we were close enough to make the side trip over here. And got to see the place because really, like, you have Sloss here with the complete engine house of 8 vertical engines. Then you have the 11 engines that are at Bethlehem there, the horizontal gas engine blowing engines. Then there are the 2 down in Monterey, which are Tods, and those are vertical steeple type cross compound blowers. But that entire blowing engine house has been reconfigured, and it's now an event center. So if you want to do a wedding or something in Monterey, and you can rent that, and your whole wedding party can sit there next to the flywheels of the blowing engines. And then you have the one vertical long crosshead engine, which is at Station Square in Pittsburgh, right next to the Smithfield Street Bridge. And I think that's it. That's all of the big blowing engines that are left. So yeah, this is a rare place. I mean, this blowing engine house set up like this was very common. I mean, in our area, there were multiples. You couldn't swing a cat without hitting a couple of blowing engine houses from all the merchant furnaces and all that in the area, but all gone. All right, let's see if we can find out where that exhaust line goes. All right, so out here, okay, it looks like that exhaust line just goes to a exhaust stack. So there's no condenser or anything here, it just exhausts to the atmosphere. Not really sure what this is. Now maybe some of the exhaust went to a feed water heater. This could be a feed water heater set up there. The way they had the boilers here, it's kind of interesting. They didn't have a boiler house. The boilers were outside. Each one of these, I believe these are Stirling water tube boilers, kind of looks that way. And each one had their own stack, and they were outside. No need for a boiler house. I guess it was a little bit too warm to encase these in a building. No need, since in Birmingham, Alabama, the weather doesn't normally get all that bad. Okay, well, all right, this engine that is built a little bit different is a Mesta. And so maybe the others are all Alice Chalmers. Interesting. I don't suppose it actually put their name on it. Oh, wait a minute here. BE2. Nope. Alright everyone, well, I'm going to take a quick look around the rest of the site, and wife and I are going to head back out and do a couple other things before we head back up to Nashville for the evening. Yeah, I thought just make this quick little interlude down here to take a look at these things here. And you know, it's always nice to every once in a while go around and look at other people's engines. You know, always a good thing to do. All right, everyone, take care.